All right, today we're jumping right into a really tough but incredibly important topic, child marriage in India. We're going to dig into the amazing progress that's been made, but also get real about the huge challenges that are still ahead in this fight.
Okay, so let's just kick things off with a number that, well, it really puts the scale of this into perspective. Almost one out of every three child brides in the entire world is in India. That is a staggering figure. We're talking about more than 100 million girls and women who are married before they even turned 18. And the UN just captures the human cost of this perfectly. This isn't just a number on a page, it's about a massive global loss of potential. Every single time a child is forced into marriage, a future is stolen. And not just from that one girl, but from all of us.
So, what are we actually talking about here? What's the legal definition? Well, in India, the law is very clear. It's any union where the girl is under 18 or the boy is under 21. Simple as that. First up, let's really unpack the consequences. Because the true cost of child marriage is devastating and it lasts a lifetime. It goes so far beyond just a single wedding day. I mean, the impact is just devastatingly broad. A girl is immediately robbed of her basic rights, like getting an education, but the damage just spirals from there. Child brides are at a much higher risk of dying during childbirth. And get this, research shows they have a 23% greater risk of major diseases like cancer and heart attacks later in life. It's truly a cascade of crises, physical, mental, and social. And the cost? It isn't just personal, it's national. A huge report from the World Bank actually calculated the economic price tag, and it is staggering. By cutting off a girl's education and her ability to earn a living, child marriage literally slows down economic growth for entire countries, costing them trillions of dollars. So, to solve a problem this big, you have to understand where it comes from, right? The roots of child marriage are a really complex web of deeply, deeply ingrained social, cultural, and economic factors. And really, at the heart of it all is this deep-seated patriarchal view. In so many communities, girls are tragically seen as an economic liability, while boys are seen as assets. This whole mindset devalues a girl's education and says her place is in the home, which makes marrying her off early seem like a practical solution for the family. But here's the flip side. What's the most powerful weapon we have against this? It's education. The numbers here could not be clearer. Almost half of all girls with zero schooling are married before 18. But for girls who get a higher education, that number plummets to just 4%. Keeping a girl in school is the single best way to protect her future. All right, so now let's talk about the fight back, because this is not a new problem, and India has a long, century-long history of legal and social battles to try and end it. You can really see the evolution here in the law. It all started way back in 1929 with an act that just tried to restrain the practice. Over the decades, the laws got stronger and stronger, shifting from just restraint to active prohibition, and finally to providing much greater protection for victims with the most recent legislation. And you know what? All those laws, all those social programs, they've had a huge impact. This chart tells a story of incredible progress. In just 15 years, the rate of child marriage in India was cut nearly in half, dropping from almost 48% all the way down to 23%. That is a massive, massive achievement. But, and this is a big but, the story doesn't end there. After all those years of rapid decline, we've hit a critical turning point. The latest data shows that progress is slowing down, and in some areas, it's starting to plateau. And that is the central question that everyone is asking right now. It seems like the low-hanging fruit has been picked. Now the real fight begins against the most deeply entrenched beliefs in the hardest-to-reach communities.
And here's why it's getting so much harder. This isn't one single problem. It's like we're looking at a tale of two Indias. In states like West Bengal and Bihar, the rate is still alarmingly high, over 40%. But then in other regions, it's almost non-existent. This just shows that the challenge is now highly concentrated in very specific areas.
So, this slowdown has kicked off a huge national debate. Should India raise the legal marriage age for women to 21? On one hand, supporters say it would empower women with more education and better health. But on the other hand, critics worry that if you don't change mindsets first, a law like that could end up criminalizing huge numbers of people, especially when you see that over 60% of women already marry before they're 21.
So, where do we go from here? Well, recognizing how complex this is, the focus is starting to shift, moving away from just using punishment and laws and towards a more complete strategy that's all about empowerment. And the goal is incredibly ambitious. India has set a target that lines up with the UN's own goals. The national campaign is called Bal Vivak Mukt Bharat, which means Child Marriage-Free India, and the mission is crystal clear: eliminate the practice completely by 2030.
So this new game plan basically admits you can't just outlaw a social norm and expect it to disappear. The path forward is less about legal penalties and more about creating a whole new environment, one where girls are supported with education, families are financially stable, and entire communities get involved to protect their own children. And that really is the final big question we want to leave you with. The goal is clear, but the deadline is tight. To actually hit this 2030 target, experts estimate that the current rate of progress has to speed up by nearly 20 times. It is quite literally a race against time.